Okay, I'm not sure if I'm live yet or not. My computer is still circling here, trying to catch up.
We're
So,
waiting on commercials.
okay, so you don't see me yet?
Commercials have started. There's one running on me. So yeah, you're getting ready to come up. Because before it was just you standing out by the pond waiting.
Hello! I'm waiting for my computer to show me what's going on here. Let me see if I can refresh this a little bit. So I'm filming with my phone, and then I watch on my computer. So right now the computer is behind. So I guess we're just gonna get going here. Okay, somebody said they can't hear me.
We're all good.
Okay, well my computer still hasn't caught up here, but we're gonna just go for it. So hello Rainbow Warriors, and welcome to another episode of Wednesdays with MrTieDye. I am your host, MrTieDye. So I had a little bit of trouble coming up with designs. I kept having different images and stuff flash through my mind, but I finally settled on the flag fold. That's the one where you kind of fold it into a triangle shape, and I decided I wanted to do that as an ice dye. Um, so I do have my tapestry already kind of started. I ironed it and folded it because I don't have enough room here. But I thought what I'm going to do is show you with a little piece of paper towel how we're folding it, and then I also did just a couple dyes here just to see what I want to go for. So those are a couple images depending on how many times you fold it. And this here is just a fun way to kind of practice what you're doing on a white piece of paper towel. So we'll get to that in a second though. First I wanted to, well, I guess first let's see who's in the chat room here. So let's see, we got Miranda, she's been hanging out for a while, and Alan and David and Annie. Oh, and thank you Annie for the sticker. It's going great. We have a lovely day here in Oregon, mostly blue sky, and it's almost 80 degrees. We have Gwen in the house. Yo Bobenza. And sorry if I pronounce your names wrong. Mirandon. Let's see, who else? Diane, Eric, Peyton, Jacqueline, Amanda. So we got a bunch of people. It says we have 40 people watching right now. Dawn, Mustang, Ashley, Zachary, Rhonda, Jacob, Dark Image. Okay, hello. So welcome to my channel and welcome to this episode here. So last week I did up Sun Tapestry number 4, and I just love how it came out. So, and once again my computer is still not up, so I'm not seeing here, so if I get out of screen just let me know, but I'm trying to do the best I can. My computer was working just fine, and now it seems to want to be slow here. So this here is Sun Tapestry number 4, and we got all this nice cool action here with all these little darts coming down. So I really kind of enjoyed how this here came out. So this here is officially up for auction. We only have one tapestry up for auction today because the other thing I did last week was a color mixing demo. So I dyed a t-shirt with the colors that I mixed up. And one of the things I did was I did test drops as I was mixing my colors here. So let's see, I think we were up here in this top corner. So as I mixed my colors, I put a test drop because I just wanted to see how close the colors compare. Now of course they're a little bit darker on the piece of paper towel, but I did come pretty close. So there's my bright green on the t-shirt, and then here's the purple that I mixed up. And let's see, this here was just regular fuchsia I put on there. My little blue-green came out. I think that was a little bit old dye there, so that's why it's even lighter than normal. We had a request for barn red, so there's that color. So anyways, I think overall the colors are pretty similar to what I see here on the piece of paper towel. So anyway, so there is the Wild Spiral. This here is an extra large, and I'll be putting this up for sale later. But anyway, so today we're doing the auction for Sun Tapestry number 4. So that's what we have going here. So you can place your bids. We'll try to keep track of those as they run. So let's take a quick look here. Oh, we got Mazik from Nigeria. Hello. And Minna. Jeremy's tie-dye. Welcome. Andrew's in the house. Jacob. Okay. Let's see what we got going on here. Love your videos. Please do a cat tie-dye hoodie. I would love a tutorial. I love cats. The hoodies are a little bit more difficult to fold images on. I did do a cat video on a t-shirt, so you can check that one out. I could find, just saw the reveal yesterday. Oh, thank you. Okay, the reveal for yesterday was the Grand Central Sun Tapestry. That one is Sun Tapestry number 5, and that's over on my Facebook page. I'm doing an auction on Facebook because the Facebook people said that some of them can't get over here to YouTube during my show, so they're missing out. So I'm actually running an auction there that will end on Saturday. That's for Sun Tapestry number 5. The one I'm auctioning off here is Sun Tapestry number 4. So there is a difference, and you can check out the full picture of the Sun Tapestry number 4 in my album. I'll put a link here to my launch links.
Once you try to reload your screen there again, and if it doesn't work for you, I'll bring that other iPad out so you can at least see your field of view.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know what's going on with my video here. But we're going to just keep rolling right along here because I know my phone is working because everybody keeps saying it is. So anyways, so those are the 2 auctions. If you click on the launch links in the Wednesday auctions, you can see Tapestry number 4. If you want to bid on Tapestry number 5, that's over on Facebook. And the second link down in my launch links there is the Carl MrTieDye page over on Facebook, and you'll see the Sun Tapestry number 5 over there. So, okay, anyways, let's see. We can see the tapestry. Can we see the tapestry? Okay, yeah, let me put it back up again. I probably just ran a little bit behind here, but we'll start up. That's, like I say, that's the Sun Tapestry number 4. And the difference in Sun Tapestry 4 and 5 is I just have a little bit more patterning that comes out. I dyed it just a slightly different color setup. So that's the main difference, and I made the circle a little bit bigger on number 5. So, but this here's number 4. So you can just place your bids in the comments here, and we'll keep track of those as we go. Oh, good to see you, Larry. Justin. You're one of my favorite YouTubers. I really want one of your designs, but I don't have money. Oh, well, I'm sorry to hear that. But I do have a variety of t-shirts in my store. Some of those are down at lower price. And I do, through PayPal, I can take payments. So if you want to order that way, you can send me a message and I can set up an invoice where you can make payments on it. Let's see, between tie-dye Billy and strings, my husband says he doesn't have a chance.
How about this one? Will that work?
Yeah, okay, so my lady set me up with a...
Let me fix it.
With a phone here so I can at least see what's going on here.
On here.
If you set it in something.
Yes. Good idea.
Let's see, what design of your shirt? Oh, my shirt, I have a Ron Star on there. And I do have a few different videos on the Ron Star on my channel, so you can look that up. let's see, $40 on the Sun Tapestry number 4 from Ashley. Thank you. And we're just going to keep running that probably until I get done tying this tapestry, which I'm going to start here in just a second. Oh, thank you. Yeah, this here's my medicine bag. I carry crystals in here, so I like to wear crystals with me all the time. Okay, so my lady just set up phone here so I can see, because my computer still doesn't want to show me what's going on. But it looks like we're rolling here, so I'm going to go ahead and get started. So like I say, this here is the tapestry we're going to fold. I've already done the cross section folding on it. So I have all my layers in here, and I'm going to demo what I did to get to that point. I don't have the space here to show how I folded that. So let's just pretend that this here is this tapestry here. So what I did was folded it in half. So I'm going to have my designs coming lengthwise here. So I folded it in half this way, lined that up, and then I even ironed my edges just to keep it flatter here. Let's see, we got a new member. Hello, Sonia, and welcome. Thank you for signing up to be a member. I love all the support, and I appreciate it. That really helps me keep going and making these videos. So thank you, Sonia. And of course, all the rest of the members have signed up, and the people that have made donations. I appreciate that, and it definitely helps me. Have you also heard that also is called Ijami Shibori? Is that right? Yes, I have heard that. The names, sometimes I don't understand which one is which, but yes, there are different methods, and that's what I'm going to be doing here. Is I think it's the Itojime. Sorry. Okay, let's see. So glad to find your channel. Does anyone in chat know Sunshine Joy? Yes, Sunshine Joy is shipping. I ordered probably 2 weeks ago, and my shipment of new tapestries actually just came in today. So they are shipping, but they're just kind of behind on that. Where do you get your tie-dye? I buy most of mine from Dharma, dharmatrading.com. But I've also bought a few from Custom Colors in North Carolina and Grateful Dyes in Colorado. But it's the fiber reactive Procyon dyes that are the dyes that I use. Let's see, Dharma is great. Hi Julie, Brandy, and Monmouth. Oh, hi Brandy. $75 on the Sun Tapestry number 4 from Brandy, or Mustang Xena. But okay. And I don't want you going begging your mom for money. Please don't do that, because that looks bad on me. I don't want to encourage anybody to spend money that they don't have. So please don't do that. How long does your dye last after mixing it? My dyes last for about 2 to 3 weeks. What I do, and actually I just mixed up new dyes today. When I do my bottles, or mix up new dyes, I'll write my date on here so I know when they're mixed, and they just sit here at room temperature. If you have a spare fridge to put them on, then they'll last longer, but I don't. On really hot days, I'll put some wet rags over there to try to keep them cool, and at the 2 to 3 mark, I'll go ahead and add some more, another scoop of powder in and reblend them. So anyway, so back to folding this tapestry here. So just because I don't have the space, so I folded it in half one way. So here's the center of the tapestry, and then I folded that edge over, flipped it over, folded this edge up. So I just lined those up, and now I have 2 big fat creases here. Those are the creases that I'm going to fold up one more time. So I folded this up, and like I say, I set this up on a table, and I ironed it just to kind of help make the folding, or the next part of the folding, easier. And then I folded this side up. So that's what we have now, is this big long tapestry here. This here's one of the bigger ones. Is folded up like this here. So that's where we're at, and then I put clamps on here just to kind of hold things together as I'm folding it. So now we're going to get into the actual folding of this tapestry. And usually what I'll do is just kind of stack this up out of my way. I'll set it back there. And then we're just going to do little triangle folds on here. So the way that I do that is I just start out by folding a nice triangle. So I'm just lining this edge up here with this edge here. And now when you're doing an actual flag, you would fold this up like this, but that's going to put these edges inside here, and I want access. I want to be able to open this up and peek at it. So instead of folding that up, I'm going to fold this under, and I'm folding just kind of straight along this edge, and I'm lining this edge up right there. So I'm just going to pick this up and fold that under. So here's my edge here, and then my other edge is lined up here. And now what I'm going to do is fold on this diagonal, and I'm just lining this edge up right here. So let's see, we got a $80 bid for Sun Tapestry number 4 by Kirsten. Thank you. What are the measurements of this tapestry? This is one of the 56 by 90 tapestries, and I think it usually shrinks down just a couple inches when it gets washed. So let's see, stupid question, but you mix all of your dye with Lutigol and urea. I don't know what the Lutigol is. I do use urea sometimes when I'm mixing my dyes. Most of the time I just mix, right now, I used to do the urea all the time, but I'll mix a 32-ounce bottle of dye. I put 2 big heaping scoops of dye in the water. It's usually lukewarm water, and then I'll put 1 tablespoon of urea in, and then I blend that up. So, okay, back to folding here. So we're at $80 on the Sun Tap, and I just mentioned the measurements. Where do you find your tapestries? Sunshinejoy.com is the place for tapestries. They have several different sizes. Right now they have, I think, just 3 in stock. Eventually I think they'll get more in. I think at one point I seen they had 6 or 8 different sizes of the blank white tapestries. But just look up Sunshine Joy, and when you get to their site, there's a tab at the top that says Tapestries. Click that, and one of the windows it'll say blank white tapestries. So they're a decent price. They come sewn on 2 edges, salvage edge on 2 edges, and then they put these little hanging corner tabs in all 4 corners, so it makes hanging them nicer and easier. Let's see, what is your favorite color? I like blues, but really I love to play with the whole rainbow. Silly work meetings are interrupting my important tie-dye time. Yeah, that is no fun at all. That's why I retired 20 years ago and started doing tie-dye. So anyway, so I just keep folding this back and forth. I fold 1 edge up, and then I fold 1 edge under, and that then allows me to open up all of my creases here. So all these creases here, I can open them up. If you just do a straight flag fold, then you kind of lock it in into one big bundle here. So urea helps with saturation. So is it the opposite of sodium alginate? My understanding of what urea does is it is a wetting agent. So it's going to help keep your tie-dyes moist. That's really helpful if you live in a hot, dry climate. But if you, in most places, if you put them in a tub with a lid or a plastic bag, then they're going to stay wet for the batching time. The thing is, if they dry out during batching, then the dyes have stopped bonding. So that's the main reason for keeping them wet. And then the other thing is that the urea helps you mix more powder into your liquid. And I always mix my dyes really heavy. The different dye charts and stuff, they tell you the kind of the minimums to get decent colors. I usually will add extra. So even on my dye mixing video, I just give you the base numbers. but I mix mine stronger than what's in that video. I usually, for a 32-ounce bottle, most of the colors I'll put 2 heaping tablespoons. Now if it's a leveled off tablespoon, that's 3 teaspoons. And I figure with the heaping amount that I put on there, it brings my tablespoon up to 5 or 6 teaspoons. So for a 32-ounce bottle of dye, that's 10 to 12 teaspoons. So anyway, so the urea, it does help with that, mixing the dye in there, because usually when I'm done blending, most of the colors I can pour them straight through my filter and it's fine. Some of the colors like my purple, my black, sometimes the red, there'll be a little bit of gunk that's in the filter. I'll go ahead and tap that back down into the bottle, add some more fresh water, and blend that up, because you don't want to just wash that big pile of gunk down the sink, because those are some of the colors used for your blending. Okay, so we're keeping folding here. So I'm going to fold this one under. And the main thing is just lining your edges up. I'm just making sure that this edge here is staying nice and flat, and this one here is staying nice and flat. I mean, there's just a little bit of variation. I'm not extremely picky about it, but that's the main thing, is just trying to keep that folded nice and flat. So when I fold under and then I fold over. And I usually will kind of reach in here and just make sure that my creases are folded down flat here, so I don't get a bunch of wrinkles down inside there. So let's see, we got 85 on Sun Tapestry number 4. Oh, our current one is $90 on the Sun Tapestry number 4. Does tie-dyeing white beaters work well? I'm not sure what beaters are. How long does it take for the tapestry to dry? This one here, since I'm not doing the intricate folding, I soaked it in soda ash, spun it out, and then I actually hung it up to dry outside. Because this one here, with all these layers and doing an ice dye, I wanted to make sure that I was going to get good saturation down in there. So this one here, I actually let it dry out completely. But on most of them, I'll set it, outside for a couple days if we have nice hot weather, or in the wintertime, I'll set it over a heater vent so that it dries out. And it usually takes 2 or 3 days to dry out completely. But like I say, this one here, I didn't want to take a chance with having liquid down in there, so I went ahead and dried it out. And like I say, this one here is an easy enough design to fold it dry. So let's see. You mean a wife beater? Oh, okay. Yeah, if you're talking about a wife beater tank top, as long as they're cotton, yes, they're going to dye up nice. That's the main thing, is the type of fabric. Polyester does not take these kind of dyes, and that's why on t-shirts and stuff that are sewn with polyester thread, you can see the white strings in there. That's where it just didn't take the dye. And if you're working with a 50-50 blend, that means all the fibers are kind of mixed in there evenly, and half of the fibers aren't going to take dye, so then it just makes your t-shirt look faded. So the main thing is just look for a 100% cotton, and up to even, I think, 80% cotton usually will dye well, because some of the different yoga pants and things like that, they have the spandex or elastic fabric in there. But it's usually woven inside the fabric, not on the outside. And that little bit, I've still had it come up really nice with the dye. But 100% cotton is going to be your best bet. So, hello, Grumpy Old Al. Good to see you again. We got a $100 bid on Sun Tapestry number 4. We got a $105 bid on Sun Tapestry number 4 from Kirsten. Let's see, a nice make brand. Yeah, that's the one thing about the wife beaters. They usually are thin, so they're going to dye fine. But yes, they're not going to last as long as a regular t-shirt. And same thing with some of those undershirts that you buy in 5 or 6 packs in Walmart. Those are a really thin t-shirt. So if it's something that you're doing for yourself, it's fine. If you're going to be trying to make them to sell, I just recommend a better quality t-shirt, because the undershirts and the wife beaters, unless somebody specifically wants those, they're just not going to last as long just because they're thinner fabric. But they are going to dye up great, so you just have to make your choice on what you want to do. Let's see, just checking, can you see my messages? Yes, I can see your messages. Annie, let's see, did I miss something from you? Or maybe you're talking to somebody else. Anyways, I see, and I did see the sticker. Thank you for the sticker. Okay, let's see what else we got going on here. Long time watcher. Good to see you, Mother Mustache. Let's see. First time commenter. Whomever braids your beard has cute skills. I just realized it's not in front. It's a French braid. We enjoy your workmanship and craft. That's Julie here in the back room. That's my flower child lady. But yes, I like the way that she braids it right down the side here on both sides, and then she'll bring it down underneath my chin here. So yeah, it does. I do like that, especially in the warmer weather. It keeps it up off my chest hair, so I'm not sweating as much. But then also for my mom, she likes to be able to see the shape of my face. Well, my lady likes that too, but so we braid that up, and then everybody can see my face, and then I just have this weird thing hanging down. So anyways, thank you, and yes, you can thank Julie there in the back room. Let's see, Barley gonna start tie-dye, yay. Thank you, no. My kiddo has really gotten into tie-dyeing since not in school right now, but the colors fade so badly even with soda ash. What kind of dyes are you using, Amanda? I'm using fiber reactive Procyon dyes. That's where you're going to get the really bright colors. But if you're using RIT dyes or you're using the tulip dyes, they just don't have the same vibrancy as the Procyon dyes. So the other thing, if you are using Procyon dyes and they're fading, then I recommend either mixing the dyes stronger or batching for a longer period of time. Some of the different places tell you you can get away with 8 hours. I believe in a minimum of 24 hours, and I prefer myself, I use 48 hours. It just gives the dyes more time to bond with the cotton fibers. And then it also makes your washout easier. After 48 hours, most of the dyes are pretty well spent, so they can't backstain then in the washer. So let's see. Gildan are great shirts for dyeing. Yes, I use the Gildan Ultra Tees. They're 6.1 ounce, and I've had really good luck with them as far as the workmanship. The quality of them has been good. Anytime I've had an issue, I send them back to the supplier and I get replacements for them. Let's see, Gildan, what else was I going to say? Oh, the sizing is pretty consistent. I've had people, just ask, they say they wear a large and want to know if the large is going to fit, and almost always, if a person has a common size, the Gildan size is pretty similar to that. So I wish I could do that to my husband's beard. Yes, you should try it out. Like I say, it's just a French braid, and she sits and takes, maybe 10 minutes to braid it up each day. Tulip is what she's using. What brand do you recommend? I recommend fiber reactive Procyon dyes, and that's what I buy from Dharma. Let's see. I might even be able to call up a link here for Dharma dyes. Yep, right there. And like I say, you can also check, I don't have links for them, but you can also check with Custom Colors, or you can check with Grateful Dyes, and there's probably other places if you start doing a search for Procyon dyes. But there's a link to the Dharma where I buy mine at. Let's see. Oh, she corrected me. It's not a French braid, it's corn braid. Okay. What is your favorite tie-dye creation so far? Some of my favorites, I have a flower life that I did, and that one hangs on the ceiling in my living room. And I have I did a alien landing tee. It was 8 feet wide and 9 feet tall, and that one was Nice one. I did a 4-foot alien on that one in a spaceship. And let's see, I got a Chakra Buddha tapestry that I still keep. So yeah, I have a bunch of favorites, and I've done so many shirts over the years. It's hard to tell. You're welcome, Amanda. Glad to help out. How did you first learn to tie-dye? Okay, well there's another story there. Way back in the day, 20 years ago, I was married at the time, and we were opening a book and gift store out of our house because our house was zoned commercial, and we were just trying to add other handmade gifts to our list. And tie-dye was, not that it's ever gone out, but it was just kind of making more of a comeback. So we decided to give tie-dye a test. So I bought a small kit from Dharma, and we broke out some t-shirts, and we just dyed them up. I enjoyed it, so we just kind of started doing it. And then even after our store closed, the store did really well for a year in Pendleton, and then we moved it to La Grande, and it didn't do so well there. But I enjoyed tie-dye so much that I just never stopped doing it. I just kept on with the craft, and when I moved out to Salem area, I started doing the Salem Saturday Market and just kind of expanded. As far as teaching in the schools, that kind of got me started when I was first doing it in La Grande, and I was volunteering in the schools, and the teacher asked me if I could teach her students how to do tie-dye. So that was kind of how I got started doing the school events. Then I moved to Pendleton briefly, and I did some tie-dye there, and that was actually, sorry for this long story, Pendleton was where I got my name given to me. So I was working with a group of first and second graders, helping them do tie-dye because they were going to take a field trip to the Pendleton Roundup, because that's where I lived, was Pendleton. And they needed t-shirts. So the teachers had me come in and do tie-dye with the students, and I just helped them each make their own t-shirt, and each class had their own color. So I did, one set was dark orange and light orange, and then light blue and dark blue, and light green and dark green. So I just made up a bunch of different t-shirts and worked with all these kids for I don't know, maybe 2 days, 3 days. The problem is my name is difficult for little kids to pronounce, McClellan. So all day long, the kids were saying, "Mr. Tie-Dye, can you come help me? Mr. Tie-Dye." So it was at that point that I was kind of researching names and hadn't really settled on one yet. So I went home and checked, and Mr. Tie-Dye was available, so I was given my name in Pendleton, Oregon. That would have been 2004. So anyways, I know that question wasn't asked, it just kind of led right into it. So let's go back and see what else is going on here in the chat room. So we got the triangle fold. You guys, hopefully you guys were watching as I was talking. But there's our triangle fold, and I'm going to break out the next one here in a minute, but I think I'm going to set up and do the ice dye on both of these at the same time. So the other tapestry I'm going to do is the Snowflake. It's going to be tied up like the sun, but I'm going to dye it in different colors. I did one the other day, and I really like it, but I tried to get too fancy with my dyeing, so I didn't get the same effects that I did on the sun tapestry. So I'm going to do another one. So hopefully you guys will enjoy watching that. Let's see, D-Shep, I'm in Portland area. Do you have a storefront in Corvallis? No, I don't. I just sell online, and I sell through Facebook. You can find my store over in my launch links. It's, I think that, yeah, it's the third one down here. So there's my link, and you can click on that. The third link down is the Mr. Tie-Dye web store, and you can go in there and make a purchase, and I'll send them out to you. Or if you happen to be coming through Corvallis at some point, you can make a purchase and then swing through here and pick it up. So, let's see, I was using two. Okay, do you have a video of the Trippy Ripple shirt? No, I don't. That one, Josh Shep has one of those, and he sells it over on Etsy. So I won't be doing a video for that one. I couldn't figure that design out myself, so I bought the tutorial from Josh to support other artists. I'm sure he spent many years figuring that out and developing it. So I bought it from him, so I won't be doing a video. And I do appreciate the artists out there that create and teach, and I've heard some negative comments about him selling the tutorial, and I don't agree with those comments at all. I think that as an artist, we have the right to make a living from our art. I happen to do it through selling my things. I'm doing my videos all for free, but that's felt like a calling to me to share my knowledge of 20 years. So I'm putting my stuff out for free, but I do support Josh in the selling of his tutorials. So I purchased it and learned it myself, or not learned it myself. I learned it through him and have played with it, but I won't be doing a video on that one. So sorry for the long, I'll get off my soapbox. That's a huge stack, yes. Like I say, that's why I decided to do this one as an ice dye, because I got plenty of room here. And I'm going to adjust these folds just a little bit before I put my ice on. But as soon as I get caught up here on the comments, then we're going to probably close the bidding out on the tapestry here. I'll scroll back and see what our top bid is. But we're going to close that out. So if anybody else wanted to get another bid in, let me find where we're at. Kirsten is the top bidder right now at 105. So we're going to close the bidding in just a couple minutes here, and then I'll get started on the other tapestry. So if you want to place another bid, now is the time to do it. Let's see. Let's go back down to where we're at. How do you treat your shirts and tapestries before soaking in soda ash? Do you wash and dry them beforehand with synthepol? I buy most of my t-shirts direct through the supplier, and I haven't had any issues. I didn't really know about doing the pre-wash on stuff until I had been doing tie-dye for 10 or 15 years, and I'd been doing school events, and there was no way I was going to pre-wash all of the shirts. The main thing though is when I soak them in soda ash, I kind of hold them up to the light and make sure that they're completely saturated. But if you're buying them through the store, and I'm not sure how the other manufacturers are, but a pre-wash is definitely recommended. If you're getting spots and stuff that show up in your tie-dye, weird, strange white spots, a pre-wash in synthepol is good. And then I spin them out, and then I don't dry them. They just go right into my soda ash. But if you want to have them pre-washed ahead of time, then you can go ahead and dry them. That's not a big deal. But yes, the main thing is that your shirts are getting nice and saturated with soda ash. And pre-washing is recommended. I just don't happen to practice that all the time. I do pre-wash my tapestries, because I've noticed that when I don't, then I do get those weird white spots in there. So tapestries do get pre-washed. Some of my other stuff I do pre-wash too. Thanks to you, I'm hooked on tie-dyeing forever. It's very relaxing. I'm glad to hear that, Annie. Yes, tie-dye is quite addictive. I try to warn people, but... Oh, we got a bid for $115 for the tapestry. Let's see. I had to miss the beginning. What did I miss? Oh, we did the folding here of the tapestry. Basically, I didn't have room to fold it on here, so I used this here as my guide. So I folded it in half, folded it back both ways, and then I folded this. There's two creases on this side here, so I folded both of those up, and then I did the football folds where I folded it in the little triangle shape and ended up with that. And I folded back and forth underneath rather than just straight up like a regular flag, because that way I have access to my creases. I can open those up and peek down inside. Where if you just keep folding it straight up, then you kind of wrap everything up tight and you can't look down inside. So that was the one difference I did here. So, okay. Bid for respecting another artist. Yes, all artists deserve to be respected for their craft. And Josh, he is a superior artist. He does fantastic work. I love seeing his stuff. And I even met him when I was down in California. And I did my Peace Labyrinth, and he made one of the tapestries for that, as well as his father, Bob Shep. He made a tapestry for me also. So, yes, I love and respect all the other artists out there. Thank you for that, Carl. It's so important to support, pay artists. Yes, it is. Let's see, we got a bid for $120 for the Sun Tapestry number 4. Good to see you, Don. Nice for you to be able to make it here. When you do a rainbow spiral on a white tee, do you wash, rinse, or let it air dry? I like I say, I soak mine in soda ash. I don't always do a pre-wash. Some of my stuff I do, but it is recommended to do a pre-wash of those and then soak it in soda ash, and then I spin it out so it's just barely damp, because I don't want too much liquid in there. The liquid will interfere with the dyeing, so I spin it out so it's just barely damp, and that's my preferred method for tying them and then dyeing them. Let's see. Thanks for your help. I have learned a lot from watching. You're welcome. I just heard about microwaving your shirts and then rinsing right after. Can you reply on that? Yes, the microwaving, I have done some of that. The way that I did it was I would soak my shirts in soda ash. Okay, before I answer that question, let's go ahead and close out this bidding. Right now there's a bid from Wolf for $120. So if anybody else wants to bid, let's go ahead and bid, and then I'm going to answer questions some more, and we're going to start folding the other tapestry. So we're going to close that out in about 1 minute here. So let's see. Okay, so for the microwave. So I soak them in soda ash, spin them out so they're barely damp. I dye them, and then I put them in a gallon-sized Ziploc baggie, and then I'll put it in the microwave, and I set the timer for 2 minutes. But after about a minute, maybe a minute and 20 seconds, the bag has filled up with steam, so I'll open the microwave, which stops it, and as soon as the steam goes back down, then I'll close it, turn it back on until the bag fills up again. So you have to stay right there. You don't want the bag to pop inside your microwave. Although I don't use my microwave for cooking food, it's recommended that you use a separate microwave than a food microwave. A lot of dyers will have a tie-dye microwave. So just finding one like that. But after the time has elapsed, I've opened and closed the microwave several times, and then I will let the tie-dye rest in there for at least 5 or 10 minutes. I don't like to pick it up when it's still filled with steam because you risk burning yourself. So I like to let mine cool a little bit, and then I can go right into rinsing that and washing it. So it does produce colors. I do prefer the batching. I think that it provides just a little bit better colors, but if I have a rush order, I've been contacted and say I need this tomorrow, I'll go ahead and tie-dye it, put it in the microwave, and do it that way, and you can have dye it today and have it ready to go out tomorrow. So I think we're going to close. We have a $120 bid from Wolf. So we're going to close that. So if anybody else wants a bid, please place your bid right now. But otherwise, we're going to close it. We got going once at $120, going twice at $120, going 3 times at $120. I'm just realizing that there's a little bit of a delay, so I'm doing longer pauses here just to make sure that people see that I'm actually closing this out. Let me scroll down. I don't see any other bids. So we're going to close this out at $120 to Wolf. Let's see, Wolf DJ21. Okay, so, and let me take care of business here. I'm going to post a link. So Wolf DJ21. Here is a link I'm posting in there. There's a couple different ways you can pay. You can either scroll down the list there And through my web store, you can contact me and send me an email, or you can contact me down at the bottom through MrTieDye page or the do-it-yourself MrTieDye page, or these in one that says message me on Facebook. But basically, send me your email address and I will send you an invoice. The other way you can do it, there's a MrTieDye donation link within there. I think it's about the 4th or 5th one down. You can click on that and just send me, it'd be the $120 plus $7 for shipping in the US. So you can just make a direct payment there, or like I say, you can send me your email and I will go ahead and send you an invoice that you can pay from. But either way, just make sure that I have your shipping address, and you can even make a little notation that it's for Sun Tapestry number 4. And I'll get this mailed out to you. I'll sign it and get it mailed out to you. So thank you for bidding on that. And we're going to go right into the folding of the snowflake. I just want to scroll back and make sure I'm caught up here on questions. My kids always say when I finish a shirt, MrTieDye would be so happy. That's awesome. I'm glad to hear that. Hi, Donna. Let's see. I have my TV on. Hunter cannot hear you as well. Oh, yeah, I haven't figured out another way to do this. I bought a mic, but I have to have my phone plugged in, and I don't have a mic jack for my phone. I do try to make sure my microphone is closest here, and I try to talk loud enough, but there's not really anything. I've searched around. I can't find a way to actually increase the audio of a video that I'm shooting, so I'm not sure what else I can do, but hopefully you can hear me as well enough. That's what I want to say. How long can mixed chemicals sit, such as dye and soda ash? Soda ash can sit forever. The main thing is I usually will put mine in a jug if I just have a little bit, and then anytime I need to mix it, I just pour this into a tub, soak my t-shirt, wring it out, and then I pour the excess back in here. I also have a dedicated wash machine outside, and I just keep, whenever my soda ash runs low, I just make more and I pour it in. So soda ash is good. The dyes are good for 2 to 3 weeks at room temperature. If you have a refrigerator and you put your dyes in the refrigerator, they will stay good for, I'm not sure how long, but much longer than the 2 to 3 weeks. So, okay, so we have our next tapestry here. Let's see. Rainbow spiral, do you wash after dyeing it? You have to let it batch for, like I say, I leave mine for a minimum of 24 hours, and then I prefer 48 hours. And then after that, you do the rinsing and the washing. I do have a video on my washout process, so if you just search on my channel for washing, you'll see my washing tie-dye video, and that will kind of explain the whole process that I go through. So let's see. So I'm going to try to keep answering questions here, but I want to get started on this. So this one here is a tapestry that's been soaked in soda ash. It's been spun out so that it's barely damp, and then I folded it into quarters. So this one here is just the 54 by 56 inches, so it's more square than this one here. So let me just even that up. So this here is the tapestry we have. So basically I folded it in half this way and in half this way, and then this here is my center point right here. So this here is just, like I say, it's folded in quarters, and then I put a little dot there. That's the actual center of my tapestry, so that's good to know where that's at, and then we're going to fold that up from there. So let me keep answering questions here. Is tie-dye more of a hobby, or can you make it a full-time job out of it? Mine is a full-time job. I've been doing it as a business for the last 16 years. I've been doing tie-dye for 20 years. And it's just a matter of finding different places to sell your work through. You might not be able to quit your job right away, but it's something that you can kind of work up to it. And as your sales keep going up, then yes, you can make it a full-time business. I know there are several other dyers who do tie-dye full-time. So let me get rid of these clips here. And we're going to break out our protractor. So we're setting up right now for the Snowflake tapestry. Like I say, I did one the other day, and I dyed it up, but I tried to get too fancy with my dyeing, and I tried to actually add things into the process, or how I placed my dyes to get it to look more like a snowflake. And I liked how it turned out, but it didn't turn out how I had hoped. I wanted it to turn out more like the sun tap, the way that I get these different rays coming off of here. But I didn't dye it like this one. So that's what I'm going to do today. I'm going to tie this up the same way as my sun tap, and then I'm going to add my colors in the blues the same way that I did for that one. And hopefully then get more of the snowflake that I was expecting. So I'm going to keep working here, folding things up as I answer your questions here. I'll try to keep up with what's going on here in the chat. So, have you ever done a fan fold then pleated perpendicularly to the fan fold pleats? Oh, let's see. So you mean, are you talking about folding it this way and then folding it this way? Yes, I have done one t-shirt like that. I think it shows up in a couple of my videos here recently. It's in blues and blacks. But yeah, it does kind of put like a checkerboard type, random checkerboard type pattern on there. It's not exact squares, but you can see the kind of squareness to it. So yeah, I've kind of played around with that folding. I need to do a few more of those before I actually make a video on it, but yes, it sounds like you have a plan for doing something. So I say go for it. Father's Day gift for my husband. He'll be so stoked. Awesome. That is glad to hear. Yep. I will, like I said, I'll get this signed and sent out to you. If you've paid already, then I'll get this sent out to you tomorrow. So thank you, Wolf. And I'm glad. I hope your father loves it. Let's see. It's awesome. Fitting. I'm glad it's going as a gift. Let's see. Thank you. Think you can make a dragon. I did a couple dragon shirts, and those were a stitch design just to get the detail in there. I might look to see if I can find a more basic fold for a dragon, but right now I've just done the stitched one. You're so talented and helpful. Oh, thank you, and you're welcome. Yes, I've been doing tie-dye for many years, and I think doing tie-dye in the schools, where I was used to having just a bunch of kids sitting around the table watching me as I did it, and I would explain everything, I think that really helped set me up for these videos. And I forgot my yardstick, so I'll be right back. Okay. So anyways, yeah, I feel like the school events really helped set me up perfect to make these videos. And I just, like I say, two and a half years, 3 years ago, I just felt called to be of service. I've been doing a lot of personal growth work, trying to expand my consciousness, and I've taken on a new motto of be the change you wish to see in the world. And when I was called to be of service, the thing that came to mind, and I think it was probably through people asking questions, I had 3 people ask me if I was going to make videos, all in just a short period of time. So to me, I take that as the sign from the universe that maybe I need to make videos. So when I say it was a calling, that's kind of what I mean, is I had the inner sense that I needed to be of service, and then I had the questions come to me about making videos. And to be honest, when it first came up, I thought I was going to make, 4 or 5 videos just to kind of show the basics and then be done with it. But I started having so much fun with it that I decided to just keep on going. And 2.5 years later, I have over 200 videos on YouTube now. And I hear from people all around the world that I've been helping them, or they've started doing tie-dye because of me. There have been people that have started businesses because they learned how to tie-dye, or they have improved their tie-dye. So that just brings me great joy, because I do feel like it's kind of being the change I wish to see in the world. I wish to see more helpful people, so I am being a helpful person by sharing my knowledge of this art that I love so much, so that more people can have success with it. Once again, I got on my soapbox. Let's see. Can you do a muck dye sometime? Yes. Let's see. I'm not going to do one of these as a muck dye. This one here, the tip of it might end up being in the muck, but not the whole thing, because I kind of did a jury rig setup. And the other one, the Snowflake, I'm going to do that as an incline dye, because I want to get the same kind of darty effects that I have on my sun tapestries. So, but yes, I will put muck dye on my list here. In fact, I'll make a little note. Okay, and just for those who don't know what a muck dye is, that means when you do an ice dye and you pile so much ice in there, and you have your t-shirt or tapestry sitting either on the bottom of the bin or on a very low rack, and you have so much ice that goes in that then the tapestry or the t-shirt is actually submerged into the liquid. So that's what a muck dye is. And the most important thing about a muck dye is you don't mess with the muck. Once it's all melted, you need to leave it sit. You can't get in there and kind of poke things around. You don't want to be picking your thing up and sloshing it, because all of that's going to affect how the dye is setting up. So when you're doing a muck dye, just let it melt and then just let it sit there for the whole batch time, and then you take it out and go right into rinsing it. Let's see. I'm really far behind here. Any tips for the alginate? How long do you let it sit after mixing? How do you mix it in a blender, warm versus cold? Most of those questions I think are answered in the thick dye videos. I have 2 of them for the different sodium alginates. I bought one batch from Dharma, and I bought another batch from Amazon. So I do have 2 videos up for mixing thick dye or thick water. So you can search my channel, but I mix those with hot water, because that helps the sodium alginate dissolve better. So I'll pour those in first on the one thick dye video from Dharma, that sodium alginate. I also add salt and urea, but I do the sodium alginate first and then the salt and urea, because I found that it cools the water down too much, and then the sodium alginate doesn't dissolve like it needs to. So, okay, so we folded this up. I'll continue to answer these questions here. I just need to move on to the next stage here. So I folded the tapestry, like I say, to start with, in half, and then I folded it in thirds by putting that 60-degree line here. I folded this up. This here is the center of my tapestry. You can still see the little blue dot there. So to start with, I'm going to just draw my partial circle on, and the way that I do that is by tying a slip knot in my string, and then I use a pin here to mark my line with. So you just attach that on there, and then you can just pinch the string under your thumb right here at the point where you want it, and then you just bring your string out however far you want it. This here is the edge of my tapestry here. Let's see if you guys can see. Yeah, you can see my finger there. So here's the outer edge. So I'm going to bring this here within a foot of the outer edge, maybe a little bit further. This here is going to be my snowflake. So this here is just my general guideline for putting my actual fold lines on there, because the line that I'm actually going to fold, I do that as a curvy line, or a sine wave, some people have noted. So what I have here is just a piece of plastic that is a half circle, and I put little marks on here so that I can determine just how big of a sine wave. So I could either start with the bottom edge and just line that up, or I can line up the black lines and give myself a little shorter sine wave. So that's what I'm going to do here, is use that second set of lines. So I just line up these two black dots onto my guideline here, and then I can draw my circle, or my partial circle on there. And then I flip it over and I line the same two black lines up once again on my two black lines on my guideline right next to my blue line here, and I can just continue that sine wave down underneath. And I just flip back and forth. So it's just a matter of making a tool to keep it even. You could just kind of freehand it if you want, but then it doesn't have that nice evenness to it. And sometimes the evenness does help the patterning. So this here just makes short work of getting it nice and even, rather than trying to measure it all out and then draw it on by hand. Okay. Where's your supply list again? The Amazon bottles with the needle tip. On some of the different videos where I use the actual needle tip bottles, I do have a link in there. I don't have it handy right now, but also if you look up, I think it's 4-ounce glue bottles on Amazon, you should be able to find a link there. Or if somebody else has that link, if you guys could post it in the chat box, that would be nice. But yeah, I try to put those links on the videos where I'm actually using the bottles. Okay, so we're just about done. So like I say, I drew this orange line on just as a guide for my blue line, which is the line that I'm actually going to fold. And it's this curvy line that I'm folding that I believe helps give me some more of this random patterning that I'm getting in here, these odd darts here. I think if I just folded that straight line, these darts would be more straight here coming out. But I like the patterning that I get with them, and it comes from this extra different little fold, because then as the ice melts, the dye flows in those different little channels going different directions. So that's why I'm doing the little sine wave. That was something that came to me in a meditation, so I tried it out and I loved how it worked. So that's just kind of my new method for folding these suns with the Incline ice dye. Should get to Julie to read out while you answer. She sits in the back room and watches. I sit out here and do the video. Let's see. She said we could try to figure it out for next time. I got my turtle, now have to have a dragon. Oh, okay. I haven't done a dragon on a tapestry yet, but I will think on that and see if we can figure something else out. Everyone, please like the video. Oh yes, that would be nice if you guys like my video. But I think you have to kind of exit out of the chat if you're on your phone to get to the little like button. Or you can come back later and like it. What is the benefit of using urea when mixing dye? I presume the dyes won't keep as long if you use urea. As far as them keeping as long, that part I don't know about. I usually use mine up within 2 to 3 weeks, and I haven't had any issues with that. But the urea helps mix more of the dye powder into a smaller amount of liquid. And like I say, I usually go really heavy on my dyes when I'm mixing up. Well, if I mix up 16 ounces of dye, I use a big heaping tablespoon. One leveled tablespoon is 3 teaspoons. So I'm using probably 5 to 6 teaspoons of dye. And the urea is what helps to mix that powder into the liquid. But even still, sometimes, like with my black dyes, I'll have, when I pour it through a filter, I'll have some black gunk left down in the bottom of the filter. And what I do then is I tap that back down into the cup and do another blending on it, because you don't want to wash that extra gunk. I mean, if it's just a couple spots, it's fine, but if there's a bunch of gunk, you definitely want to make sure that you add fresh water and blend that up, because the black is made up from several colors, as well as, you know, many of the colors are made up from more than one color. So if you want the color to come out correctly, you need to make sure that all of the powder gets blended and dissolved into your dye. So yeah, that's what urea does, is it helps the dye dissolve, but it's also a wetting agent. So for people who live in dry, hot climates, it helps keep the tie-dyes wet while they batch, because the dye needs to be wet in order to bond with the cotton. Otherwise, the bonding process stops if the t-shirt dries out. Let's see. Have you made a tie-dye face mask? Nope, I haven't been doing the masks. It's just one more thing, and I have so many things in my day to try to keep up with making masks. I just wasn't down for that, so there's plenty of other dyers that are doing the tie-dye face masks out there. If you search in some of the different tie-dye groups, you'll probably come across them. Oh, hey Mary, nice to see you here. I'm glad you were able to make it. You're doing a wonderful job with what you add to the world. Oh, thank you, Miranda. And thank you for being a member and supporting my channel. That's much appreciated. But yes, I try to give back what I can to the world. I spend a lot of time answering questions, either here on Facebook or YouTube, but I answer through a couple pages on Facebook, and I answer through my Instagram page. And I even get a few emails from some people. So yes, I do a lot of answering of questions, and I feel like that's just more of my being of service. Sometimes it takes a while for me to get to them. As my channel gets more popular, then I get more questions coming in, and sometimes I don't have time to get to all of them. So it takes me 2 or 3 days to get in there and answer some of those. Everyone, please like the video. Thank you, Sarah, for helping try to keep people liking the video. We got 34 likes on it. We got 1 thumbs down. I apologize, although they're probably not still watching. I know my videos aren't for everybody, but there's a lot of people that they are helping, so I will keep on making them. And hopefully the people that give me the thumbs down, they will go find another tie-dyer that they like. Let's see. And I appreciate you guys helping answer the questions. Looks like somebody was helping out with, was asked, yeah, about the urea. Okay. What's in my pouch today? I got more crystals in my pouch. I usually carry this Andera crystal, but I decided to switch it out. So I got, I think, a blue and white one in here today amongst the other crystals. I've been trying mandalas lately, and I get more white than I want with my sinew. Should I try kite string instead? Yeah, if you don't want the white lines, then I would switch to using kite string, so you're not tying it as tight, or you could just not pull it. You don't cinch it down as much. The sinew, mainly, the main reason that I use it is when I do want that outlined white area on there. But otherwise, I use kite string to tie my items up. And you might still get just a little bit of white from the kite string, but not the same way that you do from the sinew. And then the other thing, if you're getting white, is just maybe letting the mandalas dry out before you actually add the dye. And then the liquid likes to wick through the dry fabric. So that's what helps then get those deeper layers within the mandala fold. So let's see. You could use, I looked up needle tip bottles on Amazon. Okay, thank you, Annie. Let's see, and I buy the 4-ounce bottles. like I say, and they have when you look on the picture, they have a bunch of different colored lids, bottles. They're all the white ones, but clear bottles, but different colored lids. And so that's the picture of the ones that I buy, but they're 4-ounce bottles. Could you add glow-in-the-dark powder to dye, or would it ruin it, or black light powder? That part I really don't know, but if you have access to the, let's see, powder, or the black light or the glow-in-the-dark powder, you could try it on just one. I would mix up maybe just a small batch and add it to one of your t-shirts and see how it goes, or you could even tie up a scrap piece of fabric and dye that and see, but I really don't know what adding that would do to it. I did ask about the fabric that changed color when you through heat. You know, you put your hand on there and it would change color, and I tracked down the manufacturer a while back and asked him if I could probably dye those and then have the tie-dye change color with heat. But he said that his process that he uses to apply the chemicals to the t-shirt to get it to do that would probably be interrupted by the tie-dye process and the washing process. So that part didn't pan out, but it was just fun to kind of think about tie-dye changing color with the body heat. So yeah, if you have an idea, sometimes you just have to go for it, and sometimes that's when you find new processes or new designs. You know, if you're thinking about what would happen if I folded it this way, my recommendation is to try folding it that way and then to dye it. And sometimes you might need to fold 2 or 3 of them in that process and then dye them in different fashions, because that can change everything. So sometimes it's just a matter of finding the right method for dyeing something that you've tied up to get it to really pop as a design. So I always encourage people to kind of think outside the box, and if you get an idea, just go for it. And sometimes one of the things you can do if you want to just test it out before you put it onto a t-shirt is you can fold up a piece of paper towel, and that's what I did with these here. Before I folded up my tapestry this morning, I folded up a couple pieces of paper towel and just did a little test drop. So basically what I did for here, for this, let's get that one out of the way. So for this one here, I folded it the same way as this one here, and I dyed one of these corners with the dark blue, which is this one here. I dyed one of the corners with the fuchsia, which is here, and then I dyed the bottom one with the turquoise, which is here, and then I put yellow on here and let it soak down through, and that's what circled around here and then made some green. So, like I say, we're going to dye this one here a little bit differently. I'm not going to dye the corners. I'm going to put 3, maybe 4 rows of color on here and just let it all drip down through. But this here is a fun way to at least get an idea of what your design is going to do, is fold up one of these and you can squirt a little bit of dye on it, open it up, and then decide if you want to do it on a tapestry or a t-shirt. Okay. Okay. Send me a link to, yeah, Benacrete. 12-pack, 4-ounce, multi-perp. Yep, those are the ones. They're saying $20. I don't really remember. I bought mine last year, so I don't remember what I paid for them, but that sounds about right. But the name, I do recognize the name, the 12-pack of 4-ounce bottles. And like I said, I just found them on Amazon. Okay, and Peyton said he followed the link on the tire tread design video. Yes, I try to, whenever I use something in a video, I try to put links. I don't always remember, but thank you, Peyton. So if we do want white lines, should we be dyeing them wet or dry? Let's see. When you're tying with the sinew, the preferred method usually it's the mandalas and stuff. I fold those up damp and then I dye them. I let them sit for a few days to dry out most of the time. And that then helps the dye wick through so that I don't have white patches, but it does give me the white lines. But I don't think dyeing dry or damp is going to affect your white lines so much as it's going to affect the saturation. I've just had better luck getting nice saturation if I dye them dry. So I hope that answers your question. I just use a tie-dye shirt that has already been dyed and use it to make my masks. I get several masks with a large t-shirt, get many masks. Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, so just cutting up already dyed shirts and making masks. Liquid vitamin C is phosphorescent. Might be worth a shot, but who knows? Yep, I don't know. If you do a Rainbow Warriors shirt, you should put one of your favorite designs on them. Yes, I'm still kind of working on that. I will be making some samples up of that here soon. I just want to kind of spruce it up a little bit to make it look fancy, and then we'll go from there. Oh, the pleats. That's very sick. Gonna be sick? Yes. You wear tie-dye every day, huh? Yes, I do. It's a very rare occasion that when I don't wear tie-dye, but they do happen every now and then. I think there is photographic evidence someplace. Okay, so we have our sine wave line tied up here, and now I'm going to go ahead and tie this up. Last time, it wasn't on a live video, but I tied it up this way, and then I put a couple extra little folds in, and like I say, I like how it came out, but it didn't just come out the way that I wanted it. So this time, I'm going to do it more like the sun tapestry, so I'm just going to kind of scrunch this up, and I'm just kind of opening some of these creases up, and I'm just pushing some of these pleats down into these creases, just try to add a little bit more patterning here to my design. And the main thing when you're doing the scrunch like this here is not to cover up your layers, otherwise that's a breeding ground for a white space under there. I try to keep them as much on one level as I can. Okay. I practiced on 99-cent bandanas. Yes, that's awesome. I love the tie-dye you're rocking today. Thank you. Yes, this here is my watercolors with a Ronstar on it. Did I miss the auction for the tapestry? Yes. We already closed that out. We had a lucky winner, and she's given it to her father for Father's Day, so it was just perfect timing. But I do have another auction going on that will be running through Saturday over on my Facebook page, and it's a similar design. I will post a link. So this link that I'm posting here is to my Facebook page, and there at the top of the page. Oh, nope, I guess oh, okay, yeah, I did copy that right. Anyways, I'm doing the tapestry auction on the tapestry I called the Grand Central Sun, and it's similar to the Sun Tapestry number 4. I just made the circle a little bit bigger on it. And then I use just slightly different colors, but it's basically the same. So that auction is running through Saturday, and that one, so you can still bid on it. And then after that, I'm going to auction off another tapestry. So I think I'm going to be trying to run auctions here on YouTube with just the tapestries that I tie here, and then the other tapestries that I put up, I'm going to run those over on Facebook, because I have some fans that are in one place and some that are in the other, or some people can't make it for the Wednesdays for the auction. So I'm just trying to accommodate, and I just decided that if I want to do more tapestries, I'll just have more auctions in different places. So you might not get to bid on all of them, but you'll get to bid on some of them here and some of them there. And eventually maybe I'll get some auctions going on Instagram too. I seem to be getting more followers there, so that might have something to do with oh Sorry, I got busy scrunching this up and I scrunched my point right down. This here is a incline die, so I want to have a little bit more space for the die to run. So yeah, there we go. Sorry, I got distracted. Okay. Awesome. Thank you. Oh, you're welcome. And yes, congrats to Wolf DJ 21. Yep, that was an oopsie there. I'm glad I caught it before I was ready to put dye on. So I'm still going to scrunch this, but I'm going to leave a little bit more of the point just to give myself a little bit of room for the different colors to run together. Because I think I have 2 or 3 shades of blue that I'll be putting on here. Okay, it looks like I am all caught up with my answers now, or my chat box there. So if you guys have more questions, you can put them in there. And let's see, we got Vianne, hello, nice to see you. And then of course both of these tapestries that I'm dyeing today, I will do a reveal video for them, not live, but I will do a reveal video for those. I've been usually doing them on Friday, just because that's my 48-hour point there. Actually, I guess when I wash these out in the morning, it's only 40 hours, but I call that close enough. Okay, so there's the snowflake part of my tapestry here. Now I'm going to go ahead and scrunch up the bottom part. Let's see, will you do some more of the Star David t-shirts soon? Yes, I can do that. And if it's something that you want to request certain colors or sizes, you can send me a message. Let me post my link. So there's 2 or 3 different ways that you can contact me through this launch links here. You can either message me through my store or scroll down to the bottom and message me through my Facebook pages. But any of those ways, you can request certain colors on the Star David and let me know what size you want. And I will get to that as soon as I can. I'm currently working on a bunch of orders right now, so it might be a little bit before I get to it. But yes, I will be doing more, and I'm doing, just like I say, a limited number of custom orders. I'm not doing really too many of the stitch designs. If I do any of those, it's going to be the simpler designs. I've just kind of found that my wrists bother me more when I'm sitting for too many hours doing the stitch designs. So I'm not doing many of those, but I am doing a lot of the folded designs. And some of the simple ones, like my Dancing Snoopy is one of my favorites to do. And I do the pot leaf. That one's been favorite. So, and that one's an easy enough stitch job. So for those ones I'm still doing, but the folded designs, I'm fine with doing any of those designs you want. And eventually I'll get the VW bus video made. But once again, that's one of the stitch designs, and those take me a while, and doing the video takes even longer to create those. So it might be a little bit, maybe towards the end of the year, before I get to the VW bus. Okay. My daughter is getting crabby and I need to turn on Peppa Pig. How often do you go live? I just followed you on Facebook. Right now I've been going live just once a week. And I do it on Wednesdays starting at 1:30. And I do hope to, at some point, squeeze another live video in at a different time of the day, and it would probably be on a different day of the week. But so far, that just hasn't materialized for me. I'm still kind of trying to figure out my whole process for getting all the questions answered and doing the custom orders and than just the rest of living life, you know, spending time with my lady and all of those things. But for right now, I do the live videos just on Wednesday afternoons. So you guys enjoy Peppa Pig, and maybe we'll see you again next Wednesday. Let's see, how's it going in Oregon during the pandemic? I grew up in Eugene. It's been going fine. I don't really go out a whole lot. I've been kind of self-isolating for probably the last couple years. We went out just minimally here and there, and once the pandemic started, then we just stayed home even more often. But we're slowly opening Oregon back up. They have some restaurants that you can actually go into and sit down now, but they're kind of spacing people out in the tables. And we have seen more people out driving their cars and in the stores, and I'd say at least half of the people are wearing masks most of the time. Places that we go, we wear our masks and keep people safe. But yeah, it's been going great. Today we have nice sunny weather. It's blue sky out there that I see. Yep, all the way around. And I think about 80 degrees right now. So it's been a nice day here in Oregon. I'm tie-dyeing right along with you, and I'm doing a t-shirt. Awesome, Annie. Yeah, what kind of design are you doing? And thank you, Vienna. Like I say, I've been doing tie-dye for 20 years now, and I just have a lot of fun with it. Okay, so now the next thing I'm going to do is get these things wrapped up and ready to start putting some ice on them. So I'm going to wrap this one up first. My preferred method for wrapping for ice dyes is using tin foil, because I can kind of shape it and mold it. Some people, they use cardboard and they'll wrap it around there and pin it. Some people, they don't even use a wrapping, they just balance their ice on there, and that's fine. But yeah, there's all kind of methods. This here is just how I do it with my tin foil, just to make a moldable wall for my ice. And I always leave the bottom open on mine. I've heard some people, they wrap it all the way around the bottom. I leave mine open because I like to be able to pick it up and look to see what the bottom looks like, to see what my saturation is. Let's see. Will you make some tie-dye mask? Here in San Francisco, we are still wearing masks too. No, I don't think I'll be doing the tie-dye masks. Like I say, I just have so many other things that I'm doing that dyeing the masks just is one more thing. And then my mother-in-law, she's making masks just out of fabric. But it just one more thing for me to try to add in, and it's just too much. Like I say, I'm still trying to get time to do another live video, and I've been getting my other videos that I've shot. It's taken me a while to get those edited and uploaded. So if I added masks in, then it'd be a matter of trying to figure out what to cut out of my day just so that I could add one more thing into it. But there are plenty of people doing tie-dye masks, so I'm sure you should be able to find somebody. Okay, so there's my first one. And the other thing that I like to do is kind of pinch a little bit here on the tin foil just to give me a marker, because I have my line here where I have my snowflake comes out to this point here. So if I pinch a little crease here in my tin foil, then after I put my ice on, then I know where this back part is, because I usually will put dye directly onto my tapestry, but then I like to put just a little bit of a darker color over the outside. So knowing where that line is helpful. And this here is just one way that you can do it. Another way that you can do it is if you just take a piece of plastic and cut it and stick it down in there. Then when you put your ice in there, this here is poking up, and you know to dye out there. But as long as you have an idea of where it's at, and like I said, you'll see me sprinkle the powder on here after a bit, but I'm going to get both of these wrapped up before I try to start breaking out the ice dye. Let's see. Appreciate your passion and you're so patient answering questions, some questions over and over. Oh, you're welcome. And yes, like I say, I think I got trained up for this by doing it in the schools. And in the schools, I was used to having, 25 kids sitting around my table, and they would be asking questions and looking at this and looking at that. So yes, I know some people that come in late. I don't mind answering questions more than once. And for those that are sitting here listening to me answer more than once, I appreciate your patience with me, but that's just how I do it, just how I am. So I might not get in the first time answered. Oh, okay, yes. If the aluminum foil does not affect the dye, would copper affect the dye, for instance? I don't know about copper. I haven't done anything with that. I just know that the aluminum foil doesn't seem to affect it at all. I've seen many other dyers that use it, and like I say, it's just kind of my preferred method for doing the ice dyes. Okay. And this one is be a little bit funky here. Oh, I think that's what I want to do. I'm going to have the bottom of this open, but I'm going to wrap on all of these sides here. So I think I'm going to wrap it like this here. And then I can crease this down however I want to build my wall. And really this is just about containing the ice in there. So I'm going to put another layer around this. Let's see, I had an epic fail on one of my dyes. I was so frustrated. I attempted a set of waves. Any insight? I would need to probably see a picture of that. So if you click on one of my Facebook links, you can send me an image so that I can kind of see what it did, and then maybe I can help you kind of troubleshoot how to do it the next time. So Tina, I would just suggest sending me a picture of your results, and sometimes even if you have pictures of it folded up that I can look at, that sometimes helps me with my troubleshooting. Okay, I think we're about ready to start putting some dye on here. No waves, just a blob. Were you doing the ocean waves where there's I think 4 or 5 spirals that go diagonally up the t-shirt? Is that the one that you're talking about? Okay. So what I have here is a couple bottles in here that have water in them. I want to make sure that they don't float. They're going to sink down to the bottom. And then I'm going to set my tapestry in there just like that. And then just to make sure it doesn't tip over, in fact, I can push that right to the back there. So let's see if you guys can see my setup. Okay, so you can see the tapestry in there. So I'm going to put dye. I think I'm going to just do 3 stripes of color across here. So I'm going to put probably 3 or 4 inches wide on here, because I know once I start putting it on, you're not going to be able to see what I'm doing. So I'm just explaining that ahead of time. But I'm going to put 3 different colors on. I have dragon fruit, daffodil, which I mixed with some melted peep in there just to kind of lighten it up, and then I have cerulean blue. So this here is from Grateful Dyes, and the other 2 are both from Dharma. So that's dragon fruit, yeah, and cerulean blue. So I'm going to put the blue and the dragon fruit on the 2 edges, and I think I'm going to do daffodil down the middle of those. So, but then, like I say, this here setup is going to help keep this here sturdy in my tub. That's all really what I was going for here, was just a sturdy setup so that this doesn't tip over as the ice melts. And I can see down in my tub here, let me wipe off these bottles. I can see that my tapestry isn't quite touching the bottom of the tub, but I do believe that I'm going to get a little bit of muck dye going on down in here as this ice melts. I think the water level will come up with these extra bottles in here. So that's what I was kind of feeling, is that I would get just a little bit of a muck dye going on. So anyway, we're going to put my mask on. Once I put the mask on, then I can't talk. Let me see if I can turn this around a little bit so you guys can see what's going on. That help? Oh. No. Sorry, I'm dealing with the time delay here. I do something and I have to wait 5 seconds for the camera to catch up, because I live in the future, about 10 seconds. Okay, let's see what else we got going on here. Samantha says, I love learning from you. I'm glad to be of help to you. Sure did. I don't think it has the right folds. Yeah, with that one, like I say, it's just a matter of practicing those spirals, and I twist those up and then tying it loosely, because you don't want to disrupt your spirals that you have going on. And then I dyed mine straight down the middle of those spirals there, so that I had colors on each side. So basically, you know, I did mine, I think, in blues. So I had dark blue and light blue, and that's what gave me then the 2 color spiral going on. So, but yeah, you can send me a message and I can help you some more with that. No such thing as an epic fail when it comes to tie-dye. It's called an experimental fold. Exactly. Let's see. Master teacher explained clearly, very well organized. It's so interesting how he controls the dye. Thank you. Yep, I just kind of play around and experiment, see what works. Bought that same bin yesterday. Why do you put a mask on? I put a mask on whenever I'm working with the tie-dye powders. They're just a very fine powder, and they get up in the air, and you don't want to be breathing these in. So I use one of these masks. Anytime I'm mixing my dye, I'll put this mask on, and then if I'm doing an ice dye where I'm kind of shaking that powder around, I want to make sure that I'm not breathing that. So it's a health concern, just a safety concern. But wearing one of these masks is the best thing that you can do when you're working with the fine powders. But unfortunately, when I'm wearing it, I can't talk very well. I do sound like Darth Vader. So we're going to get started here. Like I say, I'm going to, looks like you can kind of see most of my dye. Let me turn it just a little bit more. I'm just going to put 3 rows of color on here, and then we'll put ice on top of that. And I just use one of these plastic spoons to shake mine on. I know people use all different kinds of things, but this here is just what I use, just a plain spoon. Okay. So once again, this here is my daffodil that's actually, I guess it's mixed with melted peep. Next is dragon fruit. And last up is cerulean blue. Okay, so we got our 3 colors on there. And then I started with my yellow, and instead of putting it in the middle, I put it on the edge. So I ended up putting the cerulean blue in the middle. So I think you can see that. So I got my yellow here on the edge, blue in the middle, and I overlapped over top of my yellow some and over top of my dragon fruit some there, just to get a little bit of color blending. And I put a little bit extra dye of the blue in the middle because that's going to have to go further down in there. So now the next thing we're going to do is put some soda ash over top of that. And I've done soda ash over top of the ice, and I've done it just directly right onto the dye. I kind of switch back and forth. I don't know if there's a better way of doing this, but I've done it both ways, and both ways have seemed to work just fine for me. So this time I'm just putting the soda ash directly onto the dye. And the tapestry also was soaked in soda ash. So, but I like to have just a little bit extra on there just to make sure, because the soda ash is what activates the dyes, and I don't want to take a chance that the ice dilutes it so much that the dyes don't work as well. Okay. The next thing, we'll put some ice on there. Let's get rid of these. Let's see what we got a question here. Oh, nope, don't want to dye my Kleenex. Oh, hey sis. That's my sister there. So then there is no urea when you do ice dyeing. Nope, there's not. Like I say, urea is not something that's required for tie-dye. It's the soda ash that actually activates it. The urea helps keep it wet, but when you're doing an ice dye, it's getting plenty wet. And then the other thing is the urea helps to mix more of the powder in the liquid, but we're not mixing it here, so there's no need for urea. Gotta go, gotta feed the family. Have a good evening, everyone. Peace out. Nice to see you, Annie. Everybody, have a good evening. Very pretty. Can you mix urea into liquid and liquid pour over the ice? I don't think I've ever seen MrTieDye use urea on these, but it could be mistaken. You could mix urea. I'm not sure, like I say, that you would actually need it for an ice dye, but I don't see why you couldn't do that if you wanted to do an experiment. So you would just take the urea and blend it up in water, and then you could use that water instead of ice maybe, and you could pour it over. Or you could put ice on and then pour the urea water over top of it just to kind of go down through the ice. So yeah, you could test that out and see if it makes any kind of a difference for you. So, and I didn't have time to blend up or shave up my ice today, so we're just going to go with just straight ice cubes this time. So I'm just going to pour ice in there, and then like I say, I will check on this later and see how it's doing, see how, if I have color coming down the sides there, I can kind of lift this up just a little bit and peek in there. And if needed, I will add more ice to this later, but I think we should be good on that. And then, like I say, we'll get the Snowflake dyed here in just a second. And then I might actually get out of here early today. Okay, so I'm going to set this one out of the way for now. Okay, and then here's my bin I use for my ice dyeing. And I usually use a couple of these bottles. Once again, I fill them up with water so they're nice and heavy. And then I can put them in here, and I can kind of adjust then the height of my rack. So how steep of an incline, I can go back here to this here, and that lowers it down, or I can go more if I want a steeper incline on there. So I just found that this here is one of my methods I like. I've seen some people, they'll put them in rain gutters, and then they set up a thing. But however you can find to balance your dyes up, like I say, there's lots of different methods. Yeah, and see, like I say, on the bottom here, I have this open so that the dye can run straight through. But then the main thing is, later tonight, I can lift this up and peek under there and see if I have dye saturation. The last few that I've done, I end up with just a little bit of a white spot right down here, and I just usually touch it up with liquid dye. So I do kind of a mix between the liquid and the ice. Okay, so now I'm just kind of doing my final little scrunches on my foil. And then what I'm going to do, move that out of the way. Keep knocking things over. Maybe it's time for a drink of water. Okay, so I have baby blue, and these are all from Dharma. I have turquoise, I have sapphire blue, and then blue violet and cobalt. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the turquoise and the baby blue up here at the top part. So the baby blue will be up here at the point, probably halfway down. I might even put baby blue all the way on here, but then I'm going to layer turquoise and sapphire. Turquoise in the middle, sapphire closer to my line here, probably right on my line with my turquoise. I'm going to take the blue violet and I'm going to cover all of this area. I'm going to put my soda ash on, then I'm going to put my ice on, and then remember how I kind of creased my tin foil here? This here is my line of where my snowflake is. Then the cobalt I'm going to put on top of the ice down here for this bottom part, just to darken that up. So that's the process. Oh, I need to rinse my spoons. Okay. So it looks like we still have 65 people watching according to my little counter there. So I appreciate you guys hanging out with me, even when I do the repeats. Sometimes I get on a roll here. I did that with the sun tapestries, and then I got fascinated with the snowflake with the same fold. So, but it's a matter of, I want it to come out the way that I kind of envision, which is why I'm doing a second one of these snowflakes. Let's see, this may have already been answered, but what is the advantage of an incline? Is it mainly for the different design? The incline is going, when you put your dyes on, when the tapestry is flat, the dyes soak in with gravity just straight down. When you put it on an incline, and especially when you're doing an ice dye, when the liquid goes on, it's hitting the fabric and then it's running because of gravity downhill. And in the sun tapestry, then it causes the dye to kind of spike out like this here. I can't see if I'm on camera here, but it causes these extra little spikes with the dye running out. So it just adds to the patterning that you get. So that's why I like doing the incline dyes. So in any way that you have it folded up, if you then put it on incline, your dyes are going to run a little bit and just kind of add to the design. Let's see. Okay, thank you, Zach, for answering that question. Is the cerulean blue from Grateful Dyes the original authentic cerulean, or is it a mixture of other dyes to simulate the original? As far as I know, this is the original. I mean, I didn't do any mixing. This here's how I bought it from them, from Grateful Dyes. So, and it was the cerulean blue. So I didn't do any mixing. I'm just using the powder straight how it came from Grateful Dyes. You're the best teacher. I watch you all the time and repeat your videos. Awesome, Luna. I'm glad to hear that. I'm glad to be of help. Okay, I'm putting my mask back on, so if it sounds like Darth Vader entered, it's just me. And if Luke is here,
Luke, I am your father.
sorry. No problem, you said it better. What brand of dye do I use? The branded dye, most of my dye comes from Dharma. And it's the Procyon fiber reactive dye. But I do buy some, like I say, from Grateful Dyes I bought, and from Custom Colors out of North Carolina. The main thing to look for, though, is the Procyon dyes, or fiber reactive Procyon dyes. Okay. So this here is the baby blue.
Okay, turquoise is next up. Sapphire blue is next. Okay, next I'm doing blue violet, and that's what I'm going to do down here in this whole bottom area outside of the snowflake.
Okay. Let me see. Looks like we got a couple more questions. Great explanation. I may have to try this sometime. Oh, you're welcome. Yes, have fun with it. Sometimes that's the only way you're going to know is to just tie one up and dye it and see whether you do liquid dye or ice dye or you do a combo of them or you just find your own method. Thanks. I finally ordered some Dharma dyes. I'm so excited to try some new techniques. Wonderful. Have fun with that. I'm waiting for my dyes to arrive. I can't wait to try it out. Thank you for your tutorials. You are my teacher. Awesome. I'm glad to hear that. And you guys are all my rainbow warriors out there. I love helping everybody else have success with this because when I first got started, I was kind of on my own. I found little help here and there, but a lot of the stuff I figured out through trial and error. And I know that can be frustrating. So by providing these and helping you guys have success at the start, then hopefully you'll continue. So let's see. I got the same spoon. Which Walmart? Rather the one here in Corvallis. I am also waiting on my Dharma dye. Super excited. They should be here Tuesday. Wonderful. Yeah, I know Dharma and probably the rest of the dye houses are just a little bit backed up with everything that's going on out in the world. But yes, getting stocked up on a little bit of videos. Can you use fabric paint? I have heard of people using fabric paint that they wanted to dye I think it was one of those dry wicking shirts that's made out of polyester or some other fiber that's not cotton. And I think they used fabric paint of some sort. diluted it down, and then they tied it up and used it as dye. I don't know the process myself yet, but eventually I'm going to kind of start experimenting. Well, I guess you guys have seen me experiment with different folds, but I'm going to experiment with other things. So fabric paint will probably be one of them eventually, but I haven't done it yet. This is also wholesome. I am happy I found this channel. Well, wonderful, Peyton. I'm glad that you found it too. Dharma should give you a sponsorship. Yes, that would be wonderful. Dharma, are you guys listening? Okay, so now I'm going to sprinkle some soda ash on here. One thing about getting soda ash from the pool supply store, sometimes you get big chunks, and I just haven't taken the time to break mine up yet, so I have to kind of sift this around and get some powder. Or I can break it up myself. There we go. Yeah, when you order the soda ash from Dharma, it's nice and all broke up for you, but shipping can be expensive when you're buying the soda ash. I buy this here at the pool supply store, but it does take some breaking up on there because of the big chunks. Let's see. Can you mix powders to get different colors? Yes, you can. Yeah, I did. Last week I did a color mixing video with just the liquid dye, but you can mix the powders. Like when I mix up my bright green, I mix it with the powders. So I start out by adding, I think 3/4, how can I say it? It's 3 parts lemon yellow and 1 part turquoise. So usually I just mix, I use a big scoop, and then I use a partial scoop, and then I finish the rest of that partial scoop out with turquoise, and that gives me the bright. With my daffodil, let's see, where's that at? Here's my daffodil. This was one that the color came in, it was just a little bit too gold for me, so I just mixed in some melted peep and shook that up, and then when I mix it, then my daffodil color is more of a gold. So yes, you can do that. And then the other color I mix the powders is my better black, or my black. It says better black on there, but in this tub here I have better black, new black, and raven black. I just mixed, I have a 5-pound jug like this here that I mixed all 3 of my powders in, and then I shook that up, and then I filled this container up, and this is what I use to mix my blacks with. So yes, you can adjust them, and it might be better to start out by mixing liquid dye so you can kind of test it, and once you kind of have an idea, you can use those same proportions with the powders and mix up your own concentrates then. Hope that answered your question. Okay, let's get back to dyeing this here. We're right down to putting some ice on this and letting this set up. And then, like I say, after these have, the ice has melted, then I let them sit for another 48 hours. My batching time on my ice dyes doesn't start until all of my ice has melted, and then that's when I start timing, because if you start timing from the time you put your ice on, the dyes haven't even gotten into the t-shirt yet. Let's see. Does Dharma ever give you coupons, cheap shopper? I get the same coupons that you guys get. They put them out every now and then, and sometimes it coincides when I need something, and I'll place my Dharma order, and sometimes they do free shipping or discount on shipping. Are you putting soda ash on in place of soaking? No, I do both. I soaked the tapestry in soda ash, and then I put soda ash on either right on top of the dyes. Sometimes I'll put my ice on and then put soda ash on. I just like to make sure that the amount of ice I put on isn't going to dilute my soda ash, and because if your soda ash is diluted, your dyes aren't going to set up as strong. So I do it both ways. Let's see. That's game changing. I want to dye a heart in the center of a dress that is already dyed. Current pattern is super light purple and gray on pink with white background. Any suggestions to get a pink or red heart? Yeah, if you're dealing with lighter colors that you're dyeing on top of, I've started with a light tan, a light blue, a light gray, and you can add darker colors on top of those. And the gray, yeah, light gray and purple on pink. Okay, yeah, so you a fuchsia or a red heart should overpower those colors just fine. So yeah, I would say just soak it like you normally would. You might, if it's been a tie-dyed pattern on there, not a store-bought shirt or dress, what I would do is break out one of these little bins and put your dress in there and pour just enough soda ash on to cover it to kind of squish that around. Let it sit for a while, 20 minutes for it to soak in good. Make sure you go over and squeeze it every now and then just to make sure that the soda ash is all the way through it. Because sometimes if you soak a dyed item, then some of those colors will leach out into your soda ash, and you don't want to spoil your whole 5-gallon bucket of soda ash. So I just do that separately, and then if the soda ash has color in it, then I usually will just pour it out rather than try to dump it back into my jug. Have you ever tried making ice with soda ash water? No, I haven't tried that. I don't know whether that would work or not. It's something that you can try, but for me it's just easier to buy just regular ice or make regular ice. MrTieDye, inspirational tie-dye, has been tie-dyeing hemp. Been tie-dyeing hemp tea towels. Thank you for your channel. I really enjoy the company and education. Oh, you're welcome. Yeah, hemp is another thing that dyes up nice. In regards to batch time, I hadn't thought of that. Yeah, it just, for me, it's a matter of giving the dyes as much time as possible for batching, for setting up. Soda ash. With wet or dry applications, would you say more is always better? I'm not sure just what you mean with wet or dry application. Are you talking about either liquid dyeing or ice dyeing? As far as liquid dyeing, I just soak mine in soda ash and then I put my liquid dyes on. I don't add any more soda ash to it. With the ice dyes, I soak it and then I add it. It's just because with the amount of ice that I'm putting on, I haven't figured out, the logistics of how much liquid is going through and whether it's going to dilute it. So I just put extra soda ash on with an ice dye just to be safe. Okay. Should I use your soda ash recipe from your videos? Yes. Yeah, just the 1 cup of soda ash to 1 gallon of water, and that usually puts you right there in that 10.6 to 11.0 pH that you want for your dyes. I just unfolded my first mandala and there was no white where the sinew was. I thought I wrapped it around 3 times in the same spot. Are there better kinds of sinew than others? The main thing is just that it's a nice waxed sinew. And the other thing I use is flat sinew. I know that they do have round sinew, and that might be a little bit different, but I use the wrap. If you didn't get white lines, I would say just wrap it more times. 3 to 5 times is good for just tying things up nice and tight, but if you want a white line, you might wrap it another 3 to 5 times, so that would be 6 to 10 times around. But I would wrap it 3 times, pull it really tight, wrap it a couple more, pull it tight, wrap it a couple more, pull it tight. And that should help you get your white lines. Let's see, how long is your live going to be? Not much longer. As soon as I get ice put on this, then we're going to kind of wrap things up. Where do you get those hemp towels? Okay, that's... Oh, you're asking the other person. Okay. Let me get my ice. Yeah, sometimes my live videos run late. I have them sometimes run until after 4 o'clock, but I think we should wrap this one up probably within 5 minutes. So I'm going to put my ice on. Okay. Now, next thing I'm going to do is put my cobalt dye on. Remember, I creased my tinfoil right here. So this here's the outside of my snowflake. So I'm going to put just a little sprinkling of cobalt just to add a little bit more darker color around the edges there. Okay, so now once again this here is going to sit until the ice melts, and usually what I'll do is pick it up, or sometimes I can even take my phone and stick it underneath here and take a picture and see what kind of saturation I have and see if I need to flip it over. And usually, like I say, I have a little bit of white areas down in this spot here, and usually I'll just touch it up with a little bit of liquid dye. But if I have a lot of white throughout that, then I'll usually flip it and add more powder and stuff to it. But I usually haven't had a problem, so we're just going to leave this sit here. I'm going to set this off to the side and then wrap this video up. Okay, let's see what else we have going on here. And thank you, Alan, for helping answer this question more. I import them myself from China. What is PEEP? If you're talking about my dye, there's a dye color called Melted PEEP. It's just a little bit more of a lighter muted color of the yellow, the lemon yellow, and it just kind of toned the goldness down in this a little bit. But if that's not your question, then I'm not sure what you mean by a PEEP. The only other PEEPs I know are the things you buy at Easter time, and they're marshmallow candies. Less ice, more likely to get white. Wow. This was very educational. Thanks from Elise and Todd. Time to go wash out a shirt experiment. Awesome. I hope you guys have success. Or I wish you success. How about that? That's a better thing to say. Okay, so unless there's any other questions, I'm going to go ahead and... Oh, like Peeps Easter candy. I wondered that too. Yep, and Dharma, they come up with all kind of weird names for their colors. So the melted peep is probably close in color to what the Easter peeps are. So, anyways, can you message me later for further details? Oh, okay. Looking for orders to be MrTieDye. You're the best. Thank you for sharing. You're welcome. Wait all week for Wednesday to ask questions, and now that it's Wednesday, I don't remember any of the questions. Maybe you need to have a notebook and write them down so that you're ready to go. Let's see. Okay, so I think we're going to wrap this up now. So, oh, and I guess we'll do a shout out to my mom. Hi, Mom, I love you. And it looked like my sister was watching earlier, so hey, Mickey. And as far as shout outs to everybody else, I love everybody. I say peace, love, light, and laughter to all. Have a great day, and I wish you success in all of your tie-dye adventures. And once again, I'll do a live, not a live video, but a video reveal of these two tapestries, probably on Friday. It might be late Friday. Once again, since we're doing an ice dye, it takes a little bit longer for my time to set up. It might be Saturday before I get it up, but let's see. Thanks a bunch. I find your tutorials very interesting and educational. I'm glad they are working for you, and you're welcome, Pam. So anyways, go out there and share your peace, love, and light with the world. Tell everybody you love them. Give your mom, your dad, your dog, your brother, your cousin, your sister, your uncle, your mailman, give them a hug or something. Okay, maybe not a hug just yet, but at least give them a phone call, wave at them, post some tie-dye outside, put a picture up, I don't know, do something. You guys have a great day. I love Wednesdays, and I love hanging out with you, and I appreciate you guys all joining me. So, I love you all, and I'll see you later. Peace out.